Gatabaki. I use my father's name because when I use my husband's name, it changes, even the mood in the room changes. So I prefer to be called that. We go a long way. Initially, I didn't know the way I know it now, that you call it project management, but in a way, it's the same principles. So what I've seen over the years is that technology has changed, but the principles of project management, those stages you go through, you initiate the project, you plan, you execute, you control, you bring it to a closure. That hasn't changed. And in fact, it has become more important as we go on, as things roll on. And what you find is that, like Jean said, without those skills, that's why so many projects fail. For example, in IT, when we say in the public sector, 70 to 80% of IT projects fail. Why? For the same reason she said. We assume because you have very good technical skills that you will know how to implement a project. Wrong. Just because you have good technical skills, it doesn't mean you can implement a project. So you need the skills of project management. You need to know how to roll it out. The one thing I've noticed also about projects is that they differ between the projects you do in the corporate world and the projects you do in the public world. And I'll tell you why. Even when you talk about project management, when you talk about project management excellence, what are we talking about? We are talking about leadership. We are talking about leadership. And leadership in the corporate world is slightly different from leadership in the public world. I'll tell you why. Because in the corporate world, you focus on the organization. You do what is best for the organization. So projects in the corporate world, you're focusing on the benefits of the organization. So if you have to fire people like, what the NMG group is doing, the Nation Media Group, you have to get rid of this layer here so that you can bring down your cost. In the corporate world, you do that. But you cannot do that in the public sector. So in the public sector, when you are implementing a project, when you're providing leadership, it's about getting people to decide. It's about deciding. It's about seeing what is best for the people. What is it that people will accept? Because if you do a project which is not acceptable, where you don't have buy-in, it will not go through. One of my most favorite projects I've done in my life is KTDA, that digital transformation of smallholder tea farming. KTDA is very political for those who know KTDA. Does anybody know KTDA here? There's a gentleman talking at the corner there. Please, please. That one, yes. Yeah, that one. Do you know KTDA? Okay, so please listen. The KTDA, the organization, first of all, it's the biggest smallholder agribusiness in Africa. The biggest, okay? It's Kenya's highest forex income earner, single product, forex income earner. So it's a big, for this country, it's a big thing. It's a big deal, okay? It exports tea. In fact, it has something like 21% of the global market. So the whole digital transformation of that smallholder tea farming value chain was a big thing. Because you're talking from how they grow tea, how they get their fertilizer, how they take it to the buying center, how it's processed, looking through all the stages, identifying the pain point of each stage, seeing how you reduce cost, seeing how you improve the quantity of the highest grade of tea, and ultimately, how do you increase the incomes for the smallholder farmers? So when you talk about project management, it cuts across. It's technical. We are talking about social impact. I consider myself a social entrepreneur because I measure my performance according to how much social impact I'm getting through the projects I deliver. So when you talk about technology, it's not about technology in itself. It's what you achieve with it. It's what you achieve with it. And everything we do, the best way to do it is through a project approach. So I consider project management as the way to get things done. Because if you try to do it any other way, without any other plan, chances of succeeding are very small, and especially in the public sector. So this is very exciting for me And as Jean said, being able to incorporate this to how we do it, that even when we do, let's say, public project, we insist that people doing it must have the skills of project management, because if they don't, chances are that project will not succeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.